Hello and welcome to Words to Ponder by Florenza. Have you ever heard the saying, you can't see the forest for the trees? Well, I have. My dad says it all the time. And I remember as a kid hearing him say it, thinking, well, duh, Dad, the forest is the trees. And it took some time for me to grasp what he was saying. He was saying to me so many times, we see the situation that's right in front of us, only that tree, and we don't get a chance to see the entire picture. I remember years after that, my husband and I were overseas. This was our first time there, and we had been there for a while, and I was also pregnant with our first child. And I don't know if just subconsciously, just being away and being pregnant and being newlywed, that so much of the stress of that, it kind of settled in on me. And one night, I had a really bad dream. And in this dream, I was in this really dark room, and all around me were these hooded men that were all dark, and the hoods were dark, and I just knew in this dream that they didn't mean me any good, that they were actually there to harm me. And in this dream, I just began to pray, and I was praying, oh God, what is going on? Why am I being surrounded by all this darkness? I just need to know what's going on. And in this dream, I could hear God speak to me and say, open your eyes. Well, apparently in the dream, my eyes were closed, as they would have been, kind of, cowering like a child. And I remember in the dream that I opened my eyes and I could still see the dark figures around me, which made me question, why then did you ask me to open my eyes? And just when I was about to make that question, I saw behind them just this mighty, mighty, mighty army that were chariots of fire. The horses were there, the weapons were drawn, and all of a sudden, all of the area behind them was just completely engulfed in light. And when I woke up thinking that was just a really strange dream. I didn't quite know what to do with it. So it's, one of those things you just kind of tuck in your heart and you just keep it there, because even though you don't understand it at that moment, you know that you're supposed to hold on to it. Well, about a year or two later, I was reading through the Bible and I came upon a scripture in 2 Kings chapter 6. And the scripture deals with the prophet Elisha and his servant, when they were being um, attacked by the army from the king of Syria. And just a little bit about that, what had happened was Elisha was telling the king of Israel, each time that the king of Syria would have his um, army lying in wait for the king of Israel to capture him or to steal from him or to try to overpower him. And Elisha was getting the information from the angel of God. So he was telling the king kind of some insider trader, secret information stuff. Hey, you don't want to go this way because they're going to be there waiting for you. And so the king of Israel would avoid those places. Well, the king of Syria kind of got upset and asked his own army which of them were traitors. And it came out that neither that Elisha, the prophet of Jehovah, was actually given the king of Israel the information. So the king of Syria sent his army to capture Elisha. And that morning, when Elisha's servant got up, he saw the army that were there, and he began to cry out to Elisha. And he said, oh, Elisha, my Lord, what shall we do? What shall we do? And Elisha, being a man of God that he was, and not being too easily excited when the enemy was there, I believe it's because he knew whom he served. And he just prayed a simple prayer. He said, God, open the eyes of my servant. And I think that's where I want to focus for us today, is that our eyes would be open. And immediately when Elisha prayed that prayer, his servant's eyes were open, and the scripture says that he saw on the mountains all the angels of God, that they were in chariots of fire and they were in white robes, which is very similar to what I saw in that dream. And he knew that there were more for them than there were for their enemy, or for those that were against them. And I think so many times with us, we get like Elisha's servant. We get like my father asked me, we get to see only the trees and we don't see the forest. We see those that are against us and we don't see the big picture. So many times we get focused on the situation, the circumstance, our problems. We look at the bills. We look at the lack of finances. We look at problems with our health. We look at problems with our relationships, problems within our families, and we get so focused on that tree, if you will, that's right in front of us that we don't see the whole forest. And one of the things that I appreciate about the lesson in 2 Kings chapter 6 is that even though the angels of the Lord were there, the enemy was still present. I think so many times that we forget that we do gain strength, we do gain power. Our faith is magnified and multiplied when we walk through that situation, that circumstance, that problem. That's where we gain our strength. That's where our faith is empowered and renewed. We forget that we are told that God has already gone before us to make the crooked path straight. We know that his goodness and his mercy follow us. We know that he has a plan for our lives. And so many times we lose sight of that because we're looking at the situation around us. So my prayer for you today is the same prayer that was prayed in 2 Kings chapter 6, that our eyes would be open so that we could truly see the army of God that's surrounding us. And even though the enemy may still be present, he has no ability to overcome the victory that we have when we believe. So keep your eyes off just the trees, fully see the forest. Don't see the situation or the circumstances that are around you, but see the answers that's been given to you. Walk boldly, walk in victory, walk proud, walk through that circumstance, through that situation, and get to the other side. And on the other side, you're going to be stronger. You're going to have more faith. You're going to have more power. You're going to be able to overcome any obstacle because you know that you're not just stopped by that tree. Thank you for stopping by Words to Ponder for Florenza, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.